Good morning. Welcome to the worship service of the First Unitarian Church of Hobart, where we strive to put love at the center of how we show up in the world. So each week during our Sunday morning worship service, we join together in reciting the words of our affirmation of faith, which are printed in your order of service and on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament. Service is its prayer, and this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Since not everyone can attend in person, we are streaming this worship service online, and we extend a special welcome to those joining us virtually. The joys and sorrows portion of our service, however, is private, and we will pause during that time. Other than that, this worship service is being recorded and will be available for future viewing on our website. Today, our worship service will be led by our congregant, who is a very special member of this church, Patricia Riley-Churilla. Patricia joined the church in 1991, and she's been an active member of this church. By active, I mean she has served on many ministries. Matter of fact, when I got on the worship committee, she was chairman. She is a pagan universal university. She hosts our game night and pagan rituals, and now she's doing drumming circle once a quarter. So please turn off your devices, and as you do so, allow yourself to enter a sacred time together. And take a breath, and another, and join in the spirit of reverence. I am a single cell of a body of 4 billion cells. The body is humankind. I am a single cell. My needs are individual, but are not unique. I am interlocked with other human beings in the consequences of our actions, thoughts, and feelings. I will work for human unity and human peace, for a moral order in harmony with the order of the universe. Together, we share the quest for a society of the whole equal in our needs. A society in which we need not live beneath our moral integrity or capacity, and in which justice has a life of its own. We are a single cell in a body of 4 billion cells. The body is humankind. Chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It suggests transformation that takes place when we are held within a religious community. When we light the chalice in worship, we illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love and a sense of justice. Please join me in lighting our chalice by reading the words on the screen or in your order of service. We gather this hour as people of faith, no. Unitarian Universalism is a covenant of faith. We do not have a creed. Instead, we commit to walk together in the spirit of mutual love, abiding by the promises to which this congregation has democratically agreed in creating and revising our congregational covenant. So each week, we confirm together a portion of that covenant. And please recite that at each of my 3 covenants. For all the ways we have neglected to expand our spiritual growth and faith in action, may we forgive ourselves and each other, and again in love. For all the ways that we have not committed our hearts and minds to building a community of caring, acceptance, and reconciliation, may we forgive ourselves. For all the ways that we have not actively worked to build trust and respect in our community, may we forgive ourselves and each other and begin in love. Please take a moment to greet your neighbors by waving your hands and letting the warmth of your smile fill the spaces between us. Okay. Please rise in body or spirit in singing number 1053 in our teal hymnal, How Can Anyone? Whenever we gather together with others, we have the opportunity to share our own private joys and sorrows with one another, to hold them together so that the lightness of our joys lift us all up and the heaviness of our sorrows feels easier to bear. In a moment, Patricia will come around with the microphone. If you have any joys or sorrows, please state your name and let us know. Before she does that, I want to make just one little joy. We have our new minister in the pulpit, in the sanctuary. Okay, Patricia. shared and that which lives on in the sanctuary of our hearts. May we continue to weave the fabric of this community into even more beautiful patterns. Now please rise in body and spirit and join us in singing the doxology.
Deep in ourselves resides the religious impulse. Out of the passions of our clay, it rises. We have religion when we stop deluding ourselves that we are self-sufficient, self-sustaining, or self-derived. We have religion when we hold some hope beyond the present, some self-respect beyond our failures. We have religion when our hearts are capable of leaping up at beauty, when our nerves are edged by some dream in the heart. We have religion when we have an abiding gratitude for all that we have received. We have religion when we look upon people with all their failings and still find in them good. When we look beyond people to the grandeur in nature and to the purpose in our own heart. We have religion when we have done all that we can and then in confidence entrust ourselves to the life that is larger than ourselves.
Good morning. Okay, The Big Umbrella by Amy June Bates. By the front door, there is an umbrella. It is big. It is a big, friendly umbrella. It likes to help. It likes to spread its arms wide. It loves to give shelter. It loves to gather people in. It doesn't matter if you are tall or hairy or plaid. It doesn't matter how many legs you have. Some people worry that there won't be enough room under the big umbrella. But the amazing thing is, there is. There is always room. Thank you.
I'm glad it doesn't matter if you're plaid. I have a friend whose favorite color is plaid. If you ask her, that's what she'll say. Good morning. I delivered this sermon about a month ago at the Metropolitan Community Church to a Christian audience, and it was interesting, to say the least, to reconfigure it for a pluralistic congregation. But before I get into the sermon, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about myself for the benefit of those who don't know why I am standing here talking about Jesus. My mother was born in a house 3 blocks down the road. I was born in Gary and raised in Lake Station. I have lived in the Chesterton area for the last 25 years. I have lived 61 of my 62 years in Northwest Indiana. All of my fondest memories are here. Here are my roots. Indiana is the home of my bones. My mother was divorced and my father played no part in my life, so my mother's parents raised me in a spiritual, though not specifically religious, home. We celebrated secular Christmas with Santa Claus. My grandmother prayed, meditated, and lit candles for friends upon request, and read tea leaves, among other esoteric activities. Additionally, we had a portrait of a white, silken-haired Jesus on the wall and a statue of a serene, meditative Buddha on the mat on the floor. This unconventional, pluralistic upbringing was unusual in this area, especially in the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. Everyone outside of my own family who professed a religion called themselves Christian. Many attended one of the local churches. Every church in the area was some variety of Christian. I had no building to call my church. But that same upbringing ultimately led me to settle quite comfortably here in this Unitarian church. Against all odds, Northwest Indiana is the home of my spirit. And yet this morning, I come to talk about Jesus as an outsider, a pagan, a polyagnostic, with no scholarly wisdom about Jesus, no practical experience of my own with Jesus or Christianity. But I think my background gives me an interesting perspective, because I don't think you have to be Christian to understand and appreciate the teachings of Jesus. I grew up with a Jesus who had two equal and opposite sides, modes of living and teaching. For the first part of the service, I will focus on Jesus as a loving example of how a person should live their lives, to be love and light in the world. The other side of Jesus teaches us to not forget that the world will test you, so study accordingly. All that said, here we go. And I am citing Bible verses. In Matthew 22, verse 39, Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." For me, this begs two questions. Who is yourself, and who is your neighbor? How does the Bible put it? Well, I'm going to cite a few verses here for you. From Galatians chapter 1, verses 15 through 16. "But when God, who set me apart from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son in me so that I might preach him among the Gentiles, my immediate response was to not consult any human being." From Ephesians chapter 3, verses 14 through 17. "For this reason I kneel before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth derives its name. I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell within your hearts through faith." In 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, "Examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not realize Christ Jesus is in you, unless, of course, you failed the test?" So based on these biblical passages, Jesus is his Son in me, his Spirit in your inner being. Christ Jesus is in you. Remember, love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus is in you. This is who yourself is. You yourself are sacred. You yourself are holy. Treat yourself accordingly. And who is your neighbor? Ephesians chapter 4, verses 4 through 6 says, "There is only one body, one Spirit, just as you were called to the hope that belongs to your call, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all, through all, and in all. In the parable of the sheep and goats, Matthew 25, verses 42 through 45, it says, "For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me." They also will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick or in prison, and did not help you?" He will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." In the parable of the Good Samaritan, a lawgiver stood up to test Jesus and asked him, "Who is my neighbor?" In Luke chapter 10, verses 30 through 37, in reply, Jesus said, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. "Look after him," he said, "and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense that you may have." Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? Well, the lawgiver replied, "The one who had mercy on him." And Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." So in these passages, it says that Jesus is over all and through all and in all. He is one of the least of these. He is one who had mercy on the man who had fallen to the robbers. And I would offer that the man who was attacked was also a neighbor, as he was a stranger to the Samaritan who took care of him. So I ask again, who is your neighbor? If Jesus is in others, as we've seen he is in you, the answer is others. Others are sacred. Others are holy. Others are your neighbor. Treat them accordingly as well. Now I'd like to show you the other part of Jesus I grew up with, the part that saw deeply into the other person, his neighbor, saw their suffering, and had the audacity to challenge the keepers of religious law by calling them out on their hypocrisies. Let me give some examples. After Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, he went on from there to teach and preach in the towns of Galilee. In Matthew 12, verses 1 through 5, we read that at the time Jesus went through the wheat fields on the Sabbath. His disciples were hungry, so they were picking heads of wheat and eating them. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to him, "Look, your disciples are breaking the Sabbath law." But he said to them, "Haven't you read what David did when he and those with him were hungry? He went into God's house and broke the law by eating the bread of the presence, which only the priests were allowed to eat. Or haven't you read in the law that on the Sabbath, the priests in the temple treat the Sabbath as any other day and are still innocent?" In Luke chapter 11, verses 42 through 46, it says, "Woe to you, Pharisees, because you give God 1/10 of your mint, your rue, and all other kinds of garden herbs, but you neglect justice and the love of God. You should have practiced the latter without leaving the former undone. Woe to you, Pharisees, because you love the most important seats in the synagogues and respectful greetings in the marketplaces. Woe to you, because you are like unmarked graves that people walk over without knowing it." And one of the Pharisees answered him, "Teacher, when you say these things, you insult us also." Jesus replied, And you experts in the law, woe to you, because you load people down with burdens they can hardly carry, and you yourselves will not lift one finger to help them. And in Matthew 21, verses 10 through 13, it says, when Jesus entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred and asked, "Who is this?" The crowds answered, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee." Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. It is written, he said to them, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers." This is the other part of Jesus I know. The Jesus who didn't only teach us to turn the other cheek, but who also taught us to care for and about others, to not make their life more difficult, to help them and to stand against their oppressors. When we see the sacred in ourselves, we begin to see the sacred in others, and we begin to show kindness and compassion by default. There is no conflict in seeing the best in others and letting them know when they are not at their best. Jesus was good at establishing strong boundaries, and he led by example, calling out hypocrisy and the unjust. It is said that others are a mirror unto ourselves, that what we see in others is a reflection of ourselves. Make it count. As you go through life, remember, if you cannot love your neighbor as yourself, the problem probably isn't your neighbor. Be Christ-like, as Jesus said to the Pharisee. Go and do likewise. Be the love and the light needed in the world today. Learn to love yourself, then go love your neighbor as yourself, but be prepared to flip some tables when necessary. Thank you.
Hello. Okie dokie. We choose to welcome the spirit of life, join together in our aliveness, and share our resources. This month, we are sharing our Loose Change for Social Change offering with Aaron's Farm. Some of you may remember we went there on a field trip. That was fun. Aaron's Farm is too many papers. Okay. Aaron's Farm is a nonprofit animal sanctuary and rescue located in Hobart. The farm functions as an animal sanctuary, an educational farm, and forever home for animals in need. In addition to monetary donations, we'll be collecting items for the farm and the parish hall throughout the month of August. And the list of needed items are in the parish hall, and if they aren't, we'll get it there. So, okay. The money in the baskets goes to our church, and the money in the cups goes to Aaron's Farm this month. So here you go. gifts, for your presence, for everything you do. It's truly appreciated. Another way we walk together is by joining together for fun and fellowship. So here are announcements to let you know what kind of fun and fellowship you can anticipate. We have a live announcement from Dick Hagelberg. Yeah.
One of the groups I'm part of is called the Friends of the Gary Air Show. Next weekend is the Gary Air Show. The Friends of the Gary Air Show is looking for some help. What we do is we greet people that come to the air show, and we also sell caps and T-shirts to help support the events and the acts of the Gary Air Show. So if anybody is willing to put in an hour or two next Saturday or Sunday, please see me after church. I will get you a parking pass so that you don't have to pay the $20 or more to get into the Thank you.
Okay, you're warmly invited to join us for a meet and greet picnic in honor of Dr. Kathy Harrington on Sunday, August 17th, 2025, immediately following this service, so around 12:30 on the church lawn. We'll provide burgers, lemonade, and cookie bars. Feel free to bring a side dish, dessert if you want to share. It's not mandatory. It's a relaxed, good time, so everybody come and enjoy. Also, reminding you, the Buildings and Grounds is having a meeting at 1 o'clock today. If you have any interest in Building and Grounds being on the board, please attend. Okay. And now please rise as you're willing and able to sing hymn number 123 in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life. Please be seated. Go in peace. Live simply, gently, at home with yourselves. Act justly. Speak justly. Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness. Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not the hand of charity. Practice forbearance. Speak the truth or speak not. Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves, and go as you go with the dream of that peace alive in your heart.